Hey there, how you doing? Welcome to Custom Logo USA. Today we'll be manually screen printing on a colored garment. We're going to take you on all the steps from making our positives, getting them on the screens, burning them, to the press, and final product. So, join us, and we hope you enjoy. Good luck. One of the first steps in screen printing is obtaining your computer-generated separations from your art department. Each separation will represent a color on your garment, and each color will be an individual screen. Let's go to the screen room and see how that happens. Here we are in the screen room. Our screens are stretched, cleaned, and then coated with a light and water sensitive emulsion. Then they are kept under yellow light, as you can see we are in right now. After they are allowed to dry, to get our image on the screen, we will need to expose our vellums, which we printed out earlier, to bright light. Now, to achieve that light, we use the Amograph 350, which is a high-powered metal halide lamp. To get the proper amount of light we need, it is integrated in the machine already for each mesh that we use. You don't necessarily have to have this machine to do this. It can be done, believe it or not, in sunlight, and it can also be done with simple fluorescent bulbs and a piece of glass. So, you really don't need to go to this extreme, but if you can, I suggest you do it. What we're going to do is we have our first separation here, which is the underbase. The underbase is required in dark shirts to make colors pop, such as a flash does on a camera. If you try to take a picture in the dark, you're not going to see too much. So what we do is we have a separation that goes underneath all the other colors. And the separation will be printed white on the t-shirt, then it will be dried, and then the other colors will go on top of it, so we have a nice bright print. Now what we're going to do, we're going to burn these screens. We're going to place our screen on top of our separation. Our bright light is down below. That light's going to shine up onto the separation. It's going to be exposing the whole screen and emulsion to the bright light. What is blocked out by the toner will wash away with water. Those are in there, nice and tight. We're going to close her up, lock her in, and turn her on. As you can see, our metal halide bulb has now been activated and is exposing the proper light needed to burn our image into the screen. As that light hits the emulsion, particles will change in the emulsion, become solids where the light is, and become weak where the light is blocked by the toner. Alright, our screens are ready. Time for the next step. Each screen will be taken out now that it's been exposed. If there's any separation still on them, we use tape. Carefully remove the tape and the separation. This is not to rip or tear it, so it can be used again later. Lay that down right there. Let's go over the water tank. The screens are exposed. We'll go in the water tank, just like so. Give them a good dousing on both sides. Now, like I said, the emulsion on the screen is light and water sensitive. It has already been exposed to light. The areas where the toner is not are going to be solid. The areas where the toner was has blocked the light and is now becoming weak. As the water sits, it breaks down the emulsion itself. With a little water pressure, we can push that right through, and out will come our image. After our exposed screens have had time to soak in the water tank, what is necessary next is to really turn on the pressure and push all the weak emulsion right through to get our stencil. Now, this process must be repeated for each and every individual separation that is allowed for your t-shirt design. After you're done, hold your image up to the light to make sure that any areas that were exposed were thoroughly washed out to get us a nice clean print. This one looks pretty good to me. I say we put her in the rack, let her dry, get her to press, and watch her go. Screen will go in a rack. We like to throw a fan on it to speed up our drying process. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes. Should be thoroughly dry, ready to be taped off and set up on the printing press. Alright, now that our screen has been burned, rinsed out, and dried, next step is to take it to press. But before we do that, we need to tape off the inner areas where our emulsion has not reached. These open areas need to be covered with tape. You could use paper tape, you could use plastic packing tape, whatever you need. Just cut a piece about the size of the inner dimension of your screen. Make sure you overlap on your emulsion. Careful for your image. Smooth it out and come up to the side of your wood frame. That will ensure that no ink gets around to those open areas. You can keep everything nice and clean. This should be repeated on all four corners of every screen. Make sure that your tape is flat as well, just in case any ink gets under there. We don't want it to end up on our shirt. Nice and smooth. Just like that. Alright, now we're ready to go to press. Alright, here we are at the press. This is our machine. We have ourselves a 6-color machine here. This machine also has 4 pallets. This will allow us to print multicolors faster by using our flash as well. The screen will go into the machine. Either take a T-square. I put square lines right on the pallet. Bring our press down, put our screen in it. First thing we want to do is make sure everything's straight. So we take our screen. I'm using the underbase, which I like to set up to. I've got a center line to make sure our image is centered, as well as straight. That looks pretty good right there. Alright. From here I like to keep a hand on there. While you're doing that, to make sure the screen doesn't move, start to clamp down. Make sure your screen is clamped in very well, because we don't want any movement during our printing time. Because this will cost rejects. The rejects cost money, and we don't want that. Right? Alright, our next step after our screen has been locked in, we're going to do a test print. You always want to do a test print before you do your actual garment to ensure registration. What I've got here is a test shirt, any dark shirt. Now we're using our underbase first to set up on, so you want to have a nice dark garment. We're printing on colored garments. So anytime you have a dark garment, go ahead and put it down. We're going to bring our screen down. It's already been locked in. It's all straight, ready to go.